Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. You know we love getting into the nitty-gritty of these crucial current affairs issues.
Absolutely. And today's topic is especially relevant for our UPSC aspirants out there.
Right. Huge implications for both mains and prelims.
Definitely.
So we're diving deep into some recent data from the Hindu
Okay.
that kind of throws a wrench in this whole idea of India's demographic dividend.
Interesting.
You know, that whole concept that
Yeah.
India's massive young population is going to supercharge its economic growth.
Right.
Well, what if that advantage is fading faster than we thought?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is, and get this. School enrollment in India has actually dropped
Oh, wow.
by a whopping 15.5 million students since 2018.
Wow.
That's not just a dip, that's like a huge red flag, don't you think?
Yeah, that's a significant drop for sure.
So is this a temporary blip,
Mm,
or are we seeing like a deeper demographic shift
yeah,
that has major consequences for India's future?
right.
That's what we're going to uncover today.
Sounds good. It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the official explanation is that data collection has improved,
Okay.
especially with Aadhaar, India's national ID system.
Right.
They say it's led to fewer duplicate enrollments.
Okay. So like less bloat in the data.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
But while that might be part of the story,
Uh-huh.
15.5 million,
Yeah.
I mean, that seems a bit too drastic to just be data accuracy, right?
Right. And when you look at the long-term trend, it gets even more interesting.
Really?
Enrollment has been steadily declining for the past decade.
Hmm.
A total drop of 24.51 million students.
Wow.
That's almost a 10% decrease.
Yeah, that's pretty substantial.
So what's particularly striking, I think, is a decline in elementary school enrollment.
Elementary school.
Yeah, so despite it being, free and compulsory.
Right, under the Right to Education Act.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's fallen by 18.7 million students.
Wow.
A 13.45% decrease.
Mm.
Makes you wonder what's going on, right?
Yeah, it definitely. It does make you wonder.
Especially when you compare what's happening in government schools
Okay.
versus private schools.
Right. So you're saying there's difference there.
Absolutely. We're seeing two very different stories.
Okay, interesting.
So government schools, which educate a whopping 65% of the population, have seen the sharpest decline. They've lost almost 20 million students.
Oh, wow.
But on the other hand, private schools have actually seen some growth,
Huh.
though mainly at the senior secondary level.
Okay, interesting. So two very different trends. What do you think this suggests about how demographics and access to quality education are changing in India?
Well, it's a bit of a puzzle, right?
Yeah.
But one possible piece, I think, is the changing size of the school-age population itself.
Okay, you mean the actual number of kids aged 6 to 17?
Exactly.
Okay.
Over the past decade, that population has shrunk by 17.3 million. And this is directly related to India's declining fertility rate,
Right.
which has now dipped below what demographers call the replacement level.
Okay, replacement level.
Yeah, for those of us who aren't demographers, could you
Right.
break down what that means and why it's important?
Sure, so imagine you're playing a game of tag, right?
Right.
To keep the game going, you need enough new players
Right.
to replace the ones who are out.
Yeah.
Replacement level fertility is similar. It's the average number of children each woman needs to have to keep the population stable over time.
Got it.
So when the rate dips below that,
Uh-huh.
the population starts to shrink, which is what's happening in India.
And we're not just seeing it in enrollment numbers either, right?
Right. There's also the decrease in the number of schools.
Ah, you're talking about those stats too.
Yeah, between 2017-18 and 2023-24, the number of schools across India fell from 1.55 million to 1.47 million.
Wow. Over a 5% decrease.
Yeah.
So all of this points towards
Yeah.
a significant demographic shift
Right.
that could have major implications for India's future.
Definitely.
So let's get to the heart of the matter here. What does this mean for India's much-hyped demographic dividend?
Yeah.
Is it really fading away?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is,
And it's one that policymakers need to address urgently.
for sure.
Think about it. A shrinking workforce.
Yeah.
At a time when India is still trying to reach
Yep.
the level of wealth and development associated with a demographic dividend,
Yeah.
it could be a major hurdle for economic growth.
It's like trying to run a marathon
Yeah.
with fewer and fewer runners each year, right?
Exactly.
We've seen similar scenarios play out in other developed nations, haven't we?
We have.
As their populations aged, they ran into all sorts of challenges.
Yeah.
But Before we dive into that,
Okay.
let's pause for a moment and take a look at those potential challenges.
All right, sounds good. So countries like Japan and South Korea,
Yeah.
they've been dealing with shrinking workforces and aging populations for a while now.
Right, right.
It's a complex issue with both social and economic consequences.
So what kind of challenges do you think India could face if this trend continues?
Well, on the economic front, a smaller workforce could mean slower economic growth,
Makes sense.
potentially less innovation,
Uh-huh.
and a heavier burden on social security systems
Right, because
as the ratio of working age people to retirees shrinks.
exactly, yeah.
Imagine trying to fund pensions and healthcare with a smaller pool of contributors.
Yeah.
It's a recipe for fiscal strain.
It's a bit of a double whammy, isn't it?
Yeah,
Not only are there fewer people contributing to the economy,
right.
but you also have more people relying on social safety nets.
Precisely.
Okay.
And on the social side, an aging population can lead to increased demand for healthcare,
Sure.
elder care services, potential labor shortages in certain sectors,
Yeah.
and even changes in family structures and social dynamics.
Wow.
It's important to think about the broader societal implications as well.
It reminds me of those articles about Japan's lost generation,
Yeah.
where young people are facing limited opportunities,
Right.
struggling to find stable careers. Could we see something similar happen in India?
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
While India's situation is unique, there are definitely lessons to be learned from other countries that have gone through similar demographic shifts.
Okay.
The key takeaway is that India needs to start adapting to this new reality.
Right.
And now,
Like right now.
it's not just about acknowledging the problem, but actively seeking solutions.
So what can India do to prepare for this future? What steps can be taken to mitigate the potential negative impacts of a shrinking workforce?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
There are a number of policy options available, but they require a proactive and forward-thinking approach.
Gotcha.
For example, investing in education and skills training for the existing workforce is crucial.
Yeah,
We're not just talking about basic literacy,
Right.
but also upskilling and reskilling programs
Okay.
to equip people with the tools they need to thrive in a rapidly changing economy.
So it's like upgrading your phone's operating system.
Exactly.
To handle the latest apps and features,
Right.
you need to constantly update your skills
Yeah.
to stay relevant
Right.
in the job market.
And it's not just about technical skills.
Okay, what else?
It's also about cultivating adaptability,
Hmm.
critical thinking,
Okay,
and problem solving.
gotcha.
The kind of skills that are highly transferable and will be in high demand in the future,
Makes sense.
regardless of specific job roles.
So those foundational skills that can be
swap.
applied across different fields.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
Another critical area
Yeah.
is encouraging women's participation in the workforce.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
That's huge.
India still has a relatively low female labor force participation rate.
It does.
Closing that gap
Yeah,
could be a game changer.
absolutely.
Any-
Empowering women
Yeah.
to enter and stay in the workforce could significantly boost economic output
Yeah.
and help counterbalance the effects of a shrinking workforce.
Right.
But it requires addressing deep-rooted social norms,
Yeah, for sure.
providing access to affordable childcare,
Okay.
and creating a more supportive
Right.
and equitable environment
Yeah.
for working women.
Okay.
It's not just about numbers.
Right.
It's about creating a system
Uh-huh.
that supports women's full participation.
So it sounds like a multi-pronged approach is needed,
It is.
tackling everything from education and skills development
Right.
to social and cultural barriers.
Exactly.
And it's not just about the government, is it?
Yeah,
The private sector has a crucial role to play as well.
absolutely.
What do you think they should be doing?
Well, businesses need to adapt to an aging workforce
Okay.
by offering flexible work arrangements,
Makes sense.
promoting lifelong learning opportunities for their employees,
Uh-huh.
and investing in technologies
Right.
that can enhance productivity and compensate for labor shortages.
So they need to get creative
Yeah.
in how they're approaching
Right.
their workforce and their operations.
It's about creating a workplace culture that values experience and adaptability.
So it's really a collective effort, isn't it?
It is.
Government, businesses, and individuals all need to be on the same page to navigate this demographic transition successfully.
That's right.
And it's important to remember
Yeah.
that this isn't necessarily a doomsday scenario.
No, not at all.
A shrinking workforce presents challenges,
Right.
But it also creates opportunities.
It does.
It's about shifting our perspective and seeing the potential in this new reality.
Interesting. What kind of opportunities are we talking about?
Yeah, how can we turn this potential challenge
Right.
into a positive force for India?
Well, for one, a smaller workforce could lead to higher wages
Oh, interesting.
and greater specialization.
Okay.
With fewer people competing for jobs, workers could command higher salaries and focus on developing niche skills.
Okay, so like becoming more specialized in a particular area.
Exactly.
Got it.
It could also lead to a greater emphasis on quality over quantity, driving innovation, as businesses seek ways to do more with less.
So it's not just about adapting to a new reality,
Right.
but also about leveraging it to India's advantage.
Exactly. It's about turning a potential challenge into a catalyst for positive change.
I like that.
This is where creativity and strategic thinking come into play.
This has been a truly eye-opening discussion.
It has.
We've explored the challenges, the potential solutions, and even the opportunities that come with a changing demographic landscape. So let's recap what we've learned today,
Okay.
especially for our UPSC aspirants out there.
Right.
You need to have a solid grasp of this issue.
Definitely.
First, those declining school enrollment numbers.
Yeah.
They're sending a strong signal
Uh-huh.
that India's demographic dividend
Right.
may not be the economic magic bullet we once thought.
It's a wake-up call, for sure.
And as India's population ages,
Yeah.
there are going to be some significant economic and social consequences.
Absolutely.
We're talking slower economic growth, a strain on the Social Security system,
Right.
and potential labor shortages
Yeah.
if India doesn't start adapting soon.
Adaptation is key.
But it's not all doom and gloom.
No, not at all.
We also discuss how India can use this demographic shift to its advantage.
Right. Turn it into a positive.
Investing in upskilling,
Yeah.
empowering women to join the workforce, encouraging innovation.
Right.
These are all ways to turn a challenge into an opportunity.
Exactly. Thinking outside the box.
And for our UPSC folks out there,
Okay.
this topic is ripe for essay questions.
Oh, for sure.
Think about it. Analyzing the impact of a shrinking workforce.
Yeah.
Evaluating government policies aimed at adapting to an aging population.
It's all super relevant.
It's all about connecting the dots.
Right.
Understanding how demographic trends influence economic growth,
Yeah.
social welfare, and the policy decisions that India makes for its future.
It's a complex web.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
here's a final thought for you to ponder.
All right. Let's hear it.
What are the most innovative solutions that India can implement to not only adapt to an aging population,
Right.
but actually turn it into a source of strength
Yeah.
and prosperity?
That's the goal.
What kind of future do you envision for India in this new demographic landscape?
Lots to think about.
Share your thoughts and comments below.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
We'd love to hear from you. And if you found this deep dive helpful, don't forget to hit that like button.
Right.
And subscribe to stay updated on crucial topics
Absolutely.
for your UPSC journey.
Keep those brains buzzing.
And remember, this is just the starting point.
Right.
We encourage you to explore the source material.
Yeah.
Check out the articles in the Hindu. The more you learn and the more you question,
Right.
the better prepared you'll be for your exams.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power.